All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here we actually have a legendary, iconic hip-hop pioneer right here live on the line. We got the one and only Sweet Tea. How you doing this evening?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing best as I can possibly be down here in Canada, just dealing with that wonderful winter weather. I hope everything is all good on your end out there in the Big Apple of New York.
Yeah, we good. We good. We had some snow flurries today, but we good.
Hey, that's the best way to be. But, Sweet, I know you're a very busy individual, so I'm going to dive right into this broadcast. But I want to take you back to the beginning of your iconic career this far. And I have to ask, what originally made you decide to pursue a career within the music industry? Because back in the mid '80s, hip hop was a fairly new genre of music.
Yeah, I mean, but it was in the streets a lot, so it just was something that we were doing in parks and at school and everywhere like that, like having rhyme ciphers and things like that. So it kind of started from there, for me. And when I met JBDMX, that's when my career started, from there, like what we call professionally at that time, you know what I mean? So I just liked it. It was something fun to do, sitting out writing rhymes, expressing yourself. It was fun times. It was definitely fun times.
And I gotta say as well, I really enjoyed the DMX Will Rock rap mix that you guys actually did together. I gotta say, an absolute East Coast classic.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
And also as well, 1 year after the DMX Will Rock rap mix, in the year '86, yourself and Jazzy Joyce actually released the iconic 12-inch single, It's My Beat, which is actually your first single as well. I was wondering, can you tell us a bit more about that? And of course, how did yourself and Jazzy Joyce originally get connected?
But I got with Herbie Lovebug, and we actually recorded "It's My Beat." And I just happened to be going to, like, it was a park jam, and I saw Jackie Joyce on the turntables, and I was like, wow, she's great. I said it would be really hot if I had a female DJ. And so, I met with her, we talked, we was like that, let's do it. And I went back in the studio and did another verse on the record and put Joyce on the record. And it kind of took off from there. So we had that single, and after that we parted ways, and I moved on with my album and the rest of my singles. But it was. She's an amazing DJ. She's definitely an amazing DJ.
And I have to ask as well, because obviously that first single, "It's My Beat," was actually released on Profile Records. If you don't mind me asking, how did that record deal originally come to be for you in the mid '80s?
Well, Herbie was actually working with Dana Dane as well, and I wanted to record my song "It's My Beat" in the studio that Davey DMX recorded in Queens. And so Herbie was like, okay, well, let's go there and let's hear how the sound. And so we went there and we recorded "It's My Beat," and Herbie was taking the tape up to Profile Records to try to get them to change Dana's studio to go work at the studio I recorded "It's My Beat" in. And they listened to the sound. They said the sound is great. Everything sounds good. But who is that on the tape? And then it took on a life of its own from there. So we didn't even really have to look for a deal. It just fell right into Herbie's lap.
And I gotta say as well, back in the day, Profile Records had such a tremendous roster as well. They're very very well known for their hip hop, in my personal opinion.
Yes, yes. It's definitely a huge roster on Profile Records.
And
It
also
was
with
an experience.
And also, as well, in the year 1988, you actually teamed up with fellow Profile record artists Run DMC to create one of the most famous Christmas songs of all time, titled Christmas in the Hollies. I was wondering if you can actually tell us the story behind this iconic recording session, and of course, what actually made you guys decide to come together to create one of the biggest Christmas songs of all time.
Well, actually, we didn't record a song together. Run DMC did their record, I did my record. Actually, it was a whole album, but our two records were the records that were pushed the most. So I was on the B side, and Run DMC was on the A side. Yeah, because it was a whole Christmas album.
And I gotta say, I never knew there was actually a whole Christmas album, because especially back in the day, you know, if one single blows, normally they kind of outshine each other type thing. But I gotta say, that was definitely a phenomenal 12-inch single that both of you guys put together.
Yeah, I was honored to, out of everyone that did a Christmas record, I was honored to have been picked, you know, to A and B side with them. And it's like, to this day, I laugh because it pressed 45s up, and I actually had the 45 version with Run DMC on one side and me on the other. So I was honored to have been picked, you know.
And I have to ask, when you did that Christmas record, 'cause especially back in those days, there wasn't already a lot of Christmas hip hop songs. I think you guys were actually one of the very first individuals or record labels to really do that. Did you think that vinyl single, the A and B side, would actually be as big as it is today, or do you think it would just kind of go out there and people might not grasp the concept of a hip hop Christmas song?
Well, for me, because I listen to Michael Jackson's Christmas songs and all of that kind of thing, and I love Christmas songs. Like, Christmas is like my ultimate favorite holiday. When Herbie said, we have to record a Christmas song, I was like, hey, first it was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do, But then we got in the studio and just came up with, let the jingle bells rock. Herbie was definitely a great person with ideas, and he helped put that idea together, and I just had fun doing it.
And also, as well, moving off Profile Records and whatnot, in the mid-1980s, you actually signed another record deal, but this time with MCA Records. I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about this record deal, and of course, how did that originally come to be for you? Because you did some phenomenal stuff with your time at MCA.
Well, I never signed a deal to MCA. I've been trying to, like, with Wikipedia, and I've been trying to fix that. Like, the next record deal I signed was with Def Jam. I didn't sign a deal with MCA, and every time I see that, I say, who put that? Where is this coming from? I never signed to MCA. After I did a Profile, and then I did Def Jam. And that was in the 90s when I did when I did What's Up Star. My AKA for that record was Sugar, and it was off the soundtrack to the show.
And I'm actually glad that I actually brought that up, because that way you could actually clear the air with individuals that do happen to read that and then come across this interview. That way they know the truth coming from the one and only Sweet to Yourself.
Yeah, I was like, where is this MCA thing coming from, And so I changed it a couple of times in Wikipedia, and I think Wikipedia is correct now, because it lets you kind of edit, but then somehow or another it'll keep resetting and going back. But I think it's correct now, because I had to change it. It was definitely on Wikipedia, and you would like to think that was like a correct, accounting when you read it off of Wikipedia. And they actually had it on there, but I don't know where they got it from.
And also, as well, January 21st of the year 1989, you actually released the iconic studio album that still, in my personal opinion, holds up today and is still a staple within hip-hop, by the name of It's Tea Time. I was wondering if you can actually break down this iconic record for the listeners that might not have had the opportunity to really embrace this perfection of a record.
Listen, I was in the studio. It was like It was a great experience. You know, Herbie and I just put together, you know, a collection, and we definitely, I mean, we worked hard, you know. Um, it's tea time. I wish I had a sophomore album, you know, after that, because I had started working on a lot of stuff after that, you know, as I was growing as an artist. But that was my first, you know, expression of, you know, sweet tea when I put that album out. And I was very proud of that album.
And I noticed as well that it actually hit like number 31 on Billboard's top R&B records as well, and it even hit the Billboard top 200. I gotta say, it was absolutely phenomenal of a record. My favorite song will always be Show and Prove.
And you know, that was a record that Herbie and I were going back and forth about. Yeah. That's definitely a good record. Definitely. Show and Prove. Okay.
And also as well, but before we move on the topic of this record, I have to ask quickly, is that record actually available on the internet? Like, is it re-released to actually be streamed or purchased today?
Okay, so now I am on Sony Records. The music is on Sony Records. All of it has been re-released. So on the platforms, you should be able to purchase it. This last March, that's when all the contacts were made with Sony, and they were like, we're pulling all your records out the vault, and they should be all purchasable at this time.
But also as well, I did actually read that you are currently the assistant director at the Samaritan Village in Jamaica, Queens, New York. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that position, and of course, how can us listeners get more involved and actually donate to the Samaritan Village?
Wow. Well, Samaritan Village is a drug treatment program, and they have, you know, inpatient, outpatient. I actually work in a residential building, and I'm an assistant director of operations in a residential building in Queens. It's a great agency. They work very hard. I mean, these last 2 years was a struggle on top of a struggle. It's still a struggle because of COVID and, you know, not turning the people away because they have drug addiction issues, but they come in positive, COVID positive. It's been a struggle. I mean, real struggle. I've had COVID twice, but you know, I big up to everybody that pushed through and worked through that pandemic because that was a feat. You know, I know. You know, big up to everybody, the nurses, doctors, everybody who did that. But like we had that was definitely something. But Samaritan Village is a nonprofit program funded by Oasis, and they're wonderful. It's a wonderful company to work for. Wonderful.
And also as well, because when you said
if you go on the Samaritan Village website, I'm sure there's I wasn't prepared for that question, but there's definitely a place for donations. If you go on the Samaritan Daytime Village website, you should be able to donate. Absolutely.
And I was actually just about to ask that about the website as well. I always like bringing up stuff that individuals are a part of as well. You know, help get the word out, help spread the word, and of course, help get more individuals more involved as well.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You are most certainly welcome. And also, currently, right now, you have a brand new song out titled Don't Play With It, featuring the one and only Pudgy the Fat Bastard, that I'm going to be playing immediately following this interview right here on the FM dial. But I have to ask, can you tell us a bit more about this collaboration? And of course, what can our listeners expect from it when they hear it here, right here on 97.7?
Don't Play With It. Don't Play With It it's a high energy, you know, get on the dance floor type of song. Pudgy the Fat Bastard is amazing. I have like a complete whole project on the way, and it's been, I'm gonna say it's just been A&R by Pudgy, and he's got on some of the songs, and I mean he's amazing to work with. I wouldn't have it any other way, and yeah, so we put that record together, and it's definitely high energy. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope everybody likes it because I love, we put a lot of work into it, and we just putting it out there for everyone to listen to.
And also as well, I know currently, of course, right now you're pushing this song absolutely amazingly. It's an amazing song. Yourself and Pudgy, in my personal opinion, have such phenomenal chemistry on this record. But I have to ask, what is next for you, Sweet Tea? Is there anything I happen to miss during this broadcast? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the FM dial this evening.
Well, we're definitely getting ready to drop a whole project this year sometimes. Like, we're going to drop a couple of more singles. I would love for everybody to, just hit me up on Instagram, Sweet Tea, the MC, SWEETTEE, the MC. Shows or bookings is sweetteathe.mc@gmail.com. Just reach out. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. All of it is Sweet Tea the MC, and just take this journey with me.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, Sweet Tea, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening on this amazing Saturday night, and actually just coming on my radio station. I gotta say, thank you so much for years of monumental music, and thank you so much for also paving the way for so many other amazing MCs just like yourself. Like I said, thank you so much. It truthfully was an honor to be able to interview an individual of your caliber this evening.
Thank you. You're welcome, and I thank you for taking your time to check in on your girl,
Hey, I gotta say, you are most certainly welcome, Sweet Tea, but I gotta say, definitely stay safe out there in New York. I'm definitely looking forward to this brand new album when it does drop to the general public. But for now, Sweet Tea, definitely have yourself a wonderful night, and hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Absolutely. You have a good night, too.
You as well. Thank you so much, Sweet Tea.
Don't play with it.